Michael Kirwan became a very famous social worker in Washington, D.C. for his charitable activities. And he had begun this task of being charitable and social work at one point. That is, he was as generous always after his work, used to collect some food items and a jar of warm soup and go to a particular place in the city and keep there and watch. And poor people, vagabonds, beggars, used to come and serve and be happy. And he was doing that all the time. Take a jar of soup, edibles, go to a particular place in the town, keep it and watch. And he would be very happy when people would take food and take the soup, warm soup. One day it happened that a beggar comes closer to the jar of soup, holds it in his hand and goes right to Michael Kirwan and pours it on his head. Just imagine what would happen to you. He empties the entire jar on his head. Surprised, Michael Kirwan says, "My dear friend, what are you doing? Don't you like the way I am giving you all these things generously?" The beggar answered, "We are not dogs, we are not lions, we are not animals. We don't bark, we don't roar, or we don't chase you. We are human beings like you. Come and meet us, shake hands with us, smile to us, be close to us, be warm towards us. Giving food is not enough. We are human beings as you are." Michael, from that moment, changed completely his strategy, became a very powerful social worker. Dear friends, in today's gospel passage we find very clear indications, as we have heard in the first reading. The book of Leviticus from the Old Testament very clearly tells that leprosy was an abominable sickness, a sickness that was considered coming from God himself as a punishment for all the evil the person had done. And consequently, a priest had to examine the wound or the rash or skin disease and declare him a leper, and then he would be cast out from the society in an isolated place. He would have to live in a cave or in a colony far away from the society. And not only that, if he had to come to the society, he had to shut his upper lip like this and shout loudly, "Leper, leper," so that other people may go away from him. Besides, he had to wear toned clothes and leave his hair or her hair down to look miserable so that people may run away from him or from her. I'm very sure you have seen a beautiful movie, Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur, when he finds out his mother and sister who were infected with leprosy in the prison, in the dungeon, that Masala had put his mother and his sister in the prison. Finally he comes out, he finds out and brings them back to the society, to his own home. Ben-Hur was an angry man. He wanted to take revenge. When he carries his mother and accompanies his sister in the society, people throw away stones, tell all bad words. That's a beautiful scene, clearly depicting what was happening in the Old Testament. Now, before the human rights movement, African American society was in shambles with regard to human rights. So that was at the lowest grade practically of human rights. Before human rights were introduced in American society. Today we have President Obama, the black president, the first black president. So nothing of that kind exists, but perhaps exists. I tell you certain things. You see, if a black man would go to a shop, he would give the dollar bill, and if changes would be returned, the white man would smash the coins on the table with the intention of never touching the hand of a black man. If a black man would go to a hotel or restaurant, uses a plate or glass, that plate and glass would be smashed to pieces. That would not be reused. If a black man or woman goes to a swimming pool, a public swimming pool, and people watch them swimming, immediately that swimming pool will be drained, disinfected, then only the other people would use. What about the Catholic Church? Discrimination was there in many churches in America. Only after the white people received the Holy Communion, the black people were allowed to receive Holy Communion. Just imagine the social leprosy that was present at that time. Now what about our society, dear friends? Don't we know that in our society also we make discrimination? Today we speak about the youth saying that they are careless, they are useless, they are good for nothing, and they waste their money, and they wear clothes and which are scandalous. They go different places. Today we are celebrating Valentine's Day. So we try to criticize them and discriminate them, considering them bad people. So we have other evils. Evils, we consider them bad. AIDS patients who feel discriminated, who feel isolated, who feel themselves put out of the society or homes. I have come across so many AIDS patients here in our parish who say, Father, after contacting AIDS, people are afraid of touching me. People don't touch me, even my own family members. What about alcoholics? When someone is branded alcoholic, we try to isolate that person, at least in our thoughts. We do not accommodate such people in our circles. What about unwedded mothers, unemployed people, vagabonds, people coming from other states? How do we look at them? Sometimes we pass a remark saying that, oh, he is from the north, he is from the east, he is from the west, oh, they are from the south. They are not up to our tradition, not up to our standard. Our language is better, their language is not better. We speak better, they don't speak better. We don't understand what they speak, even though we speak the same language. Their accent is not good, our accent is good. Certain kinds of discriminations we make. Now in the life of Jesus we find very clear indication that he breaks all these barriers, all these walls. Especially here today, in this incident, we find Jesus touching the leper, which was not allowed in the Old Testament for a healthy person to touch the leper. As we know, he should be far away. People should run away. And here, when this leper comes and kneels at the feet of Jesus saying, Lord, if you will, I can be clean. And Jesus extending his hand, touching this poor man, saying that I will be clean. I will be clean. And immediately the leprosy leaves him and becomes a clean man. And Jesus sternly warns him not to tell to anyone, rather show to the priest that he would be a proof. Offer the sacrifice you have to offer. Priest was considered the main person to decide whether there is sickness or not, and therefore he wanted to get a proof from the priest that he is completely healed. Jesus warns him. Why Jesus warned him? Because of the social discrimination such people experienced in that society. Now coming concretely to our own situation, dear friends, we know that in our society there are no lepers, but there are different types of leprosies. In our own homes, let us meditate for a while. What is our attitude towards our own family members? How many of us have cast out the family members from our families? Especially old, sick, disabled, mentally and physically challenged. How many of us really take care of them? Especially when we come across situations in our own parish. Old parents are totally neglected, completely neglected. And some remarks very painful. So, chakle kai lebule ta father, chakle samana, ajitakli samana. Family members speaking about their own father, about their own mother, what have we done? We have discriminated. We know that when a person is unable to perform his or her daily tasks, we brand them, we corner them, we neglect them. We have to ask ourselves, what will happen to us when such things are going to happen in our own life? So it's a question we have to ask ourselves. Today we may be healthy, today we may be strong, today we may be elegant, but tomorrow something may happen to us. What should be our attitude towards those people who are suffering in our society? In our neighborhood, you see here, I have come across at least 4 drug addicts who were coming. Let their souls rest in peace. When I wanted to talk to them, our own parishioners objecting me, saying, Father, he is a drug addict, don't talk. He talks nonsense. He will be a pest. Be far away from him. Keep him away. Put him outside the gate. These things have happened in our parish. Dear friends, that should not be our attitude. That should not be our attitude towards, especially I tell you, in our own family. Your parents are always parents. Whether they are bad, crooked, whatever, they are parents. They require to bless you. They have experience. But in their sickness, they are helpless, totally helpless. They don't have anything, nothing to defend themselves. But our attitude towards our attitude towards them should be like that of Christ, compassion. What about our workers? What about our workers? Those who are working in our own home, how do we treat them? Do we treat them as human beings? Do we give them their freedom? Do we pay them well? Do we consider them as human beings anointed by God, created by God? Or do we just neglect them? Oh, khamagar, servant. Should not be our attitude at all. So the things that were happening during the time of Jesus in that culture today get repeated in one way or the other. I have come across people in our parish, husbands raising their hands on women. I would consider that is a mortal sin. You have equal rights like the women to treat you. You talk, you dialogue, you scold, you get angry, but you have no right to raise your hand on human beings. Discrimination. They have come to our office with all wounded face. Is it the way of living Christian life, being the disciples of Christ who said to all of us that I call you friends and we all of us must be friends. We have difference of opinions. But then raising hands, violence, no. So this is what was happening during the time of Jesus. And then St. Paul tells in the second letter we have read just now, second reading, whatever you do it for the glory of God. Whatever you do it for the glory of God. So we have strength, we have talent, whatever we do, let us try to do for the glory of God. Not for our own personal fulfillment. Of course, there is a kind of joy, there is a kind of happiness when we do something. That is fine. But then, if we direct everything that we do to the glory of God, then there are no losers, no gainers. We all do for His glory. Absolutely, we do not do things for this individual, that individual. St. Paul clearly tells, and that episode comes because during the time of St. Paul in the society of Corinth, there were pagans who were offering meat to the idols. And there were Christians who were consuming that meat offered to the idols. And St. Paul gives a very clear clarification today. If you read this letter completely, top to bottom, this piece adding to the other pieces of this particular passage, you will find that St. Paul declares all food clean. Even the food that is offered to the idols is okay, fine. But in taking food in front of those people who are weak, you are warned. Do not scandalize those who are weak. Do everything for the glory of God. An invitation to all of us. People who are strong, we who are strong in faith, if at all we are strong in faith, let us not scandalize people who are poor in faith. Let us help them. And that is why St. Paul tells, Everything that you do it for the glory of God. Conclusion, dear friends. Michael Kirwan, who was enlightened by that beggar who poured soup on his head and brought him to the understanding that we are all human beings, we need to consider that on our part, we need to give respect and take respect. Everywhere. Whether he is a beggar, whether he is from Bihar, he is from Orissa, he is from Kerala, he is from Tamil Nadu, or he is from Andhra Pradesh, he is from Goa or Mangalore or from any part. We are all human beings because we are created by God and we are the dwelling places of Eternal Father, the Trinity. And therefore, it's an invitation as per the example laid by Christ that we need to always deal with others with compassion and understanding. Let us pray for this grace during this holy